All right, so I was looking through Amazon, as I do, and I came across the cheapest generator on Amazon that I could find was $142, I believe, and that is this bad boy right here. Now, I didn't realize this whenever I bought it until I took it out of the package, but it is a two-stroke generator. It is two-stroke. It has a 1200 watt peak power, but only 1,000 watts. It's only rated for 1,000 watts, so I guess it can do 1,000 watts continuous. It's 71 cc. I also just noticed that it says 12 volts right here. DC output 12 volts. Oh, I'm stupid. I forgot that it has one of those plugs right there where you can like charge a car battery or something. But then other than that, it just has one outlet right here. We're gonna start this thing up, test it, and really just see if it works and see how it works. But since it's two-stroke, we've got to add fuel. Man, they really don't want you to get into this thing, do they? They're scared to death you're gonna open it. Why does it smell like gas if it's brand new? So I just went ahead and bought some of this. It takes 50 to 1, by the way. Some of this pre-mixed 50 to 1. So that way I don't have to mess around with mixing gas that I don't need. How much you want to bet I can get this in here without spilling any of it? Look how good I am. Oh, it's hard being this talented. Also, why is this fuel pink? Okay, well that's odd. So, this thing, I don't remember where it says it. It says it has a 1.1 gallon fuel capacity, right? But this is only 110 ounces. So it's not even a full gallon, and it's already full. It's exactly, I would say that's exactly full at 110 ounces. So that's kind of weird. How do you claim a 1.1 gallon fuel capacity when you can only hold 110 ounces? All right, now we just got to go outside and start this thing. I want you to leave a comment. How many pulls do you think it's going to take for this thing to start? I think 2 pulls. It'll start. 2 pulls. Here we go. Oh, there we go. Right here, this big yellow sticker that I should have read but didn't. It says to turn the gas valve on. So maybe if we do that, turn the gas valve on. Now we should 2 pulls. Not even that loud. All right, so now we're just going to do a little sound comparison we're going to compare it to the Predator 2000 watt generator. That is a 4-stroke. I'm going to let you hear the idle. I have the sound meter set up 10 feet away. I'm going to let you hear the idle, and then I'm going to let you hear it under a 1,000 watt load. And we'll see how loud each one is. So that's not terribly loud, but compared to this, it's going to be pretty loud. So, if I saw those numbers right, I think the Predator generator was quieter under a full load, or at least under a 1,000-watt load, than the two-stroke generator was at idle. But really, neither one of them are all that loud. So, kind of impressive, honestly, for $140 versus I think this one was maybe 400, something like that. So now that we know how loud it is, our next test is we are going to see how long it will run for. So in the manual, it says that it'll run at a 50% load, which would be 500 watts. It'll run for 5 hours. So we're going to run it off of this heat gun, which is 1,100 watts. So actually just a little bit above the max capacity of this thing. So we're going to see how long it'll run at max load. So if the math works out, it should be 2.5 hours. Let's top off our fuel, even though we should be basically to the top. But we're going to go to the absolute top. I mean, is that the absolute top? Do we go more? Do we go more? I think we call that the absolute top, because I think some of that's probably going to spill out whenever I put this on here. All right. So it doesn't really get any more full than that. So I'm sure you can hear it running. As soon as I started it, the fuel started coming out of the top. All right. I cleaned up the gas mess, kind of. If it catches on fire, it catches on fire. It is what it is. We're going to start our timer. Here's going to be our load. We should hear this thing idle up. There we go. Alright, so it should be 2.5 hours. So, generator just died. 3 hours and 20 minutes off of one full tank of fuel. So, that's a lot better than I expected. I mean, we projected 2.5 hours. We got 320. That's not that bad. So, let's do some other tests. So, I'm sure you can hear we got the generator running again. So, what I want to do now is use this kilowatt device. This measures voltage, amps, watts, tells us everything we need to know. So, first, let's plug this into just the regular outlet, and we'll plug it into our heat gun, which is what we were using for resistance. We'll go to watts. So on low, it should be pulling 582. And on high, 11, what's that? It's backwards for me. 1146. Yeah. It should be pulling 8.6 amps. So that's our baseline. So now we're plugged into the generator. See what we get on low. Oh. See what we get on low. What did we get before? 586, I think? So 530 is not that bad. 530 watts at 6.6 amps at 132 volts. 134 volts? 137 volts? I'm not an electrician. Some of you people that really know about electricity can comment below. I don't think that's safe for regular electronics. You know what I mean? But maybe, hey, maybe I'm wrong. So let's go back to watts. So let's crank it up all the way. $845? 840? 846? 850? Call it 850? That's all we're gonna get when it's supposed to be like 11 something. We're only getting 8.35 amps. Which I think that generator is rated for 8.3 amps. Oh. Only 100 volts? I don't think that's safe either. Let's go back to low. Immediately jumps back up to 130 volts. Wow. Okay, so I get that it's rated at 1,000 watts, because if you take 100, because to get watts, you do voltage times amps, so 120 volts times 8.3 amps. I think that's what it's rated for, maybe 8.2 amps. It comes out to like 1,000 watts. But if you cannot maintain 120 volts, you're obviously not going to get 1,000 watts, which is exactly what we're seeing. We're only getting 800 watts. That's not good. Let's, I brought a space heater because I wanted to see what it would do if you try to like overload it. So that doesn't give me very much hope at all for that. Let's put our space heater on warm. Wow, even our low setting on the space heater. Same thing. 800 something watts. I bet turning it on high isn't going to do anything. $770? How many amps? Oh, we're pulling 8.9 amps. It's not even supposed to pull that many. What about volts? Ooh! Only 87 volts? Oh. And if you can hear it, it does not sound very happy out there. Yikes. With no load on it? Look at that. 147 volts? With no load? 145? There's no way that's safe. And it's also running at 65 hertz. Normal wall power, I believe, should be exactly 60 hertz. Yeah. Normal wall power is 60 hertz. Oh, 5.9, whatever. So this thing seems very, very, let me turn that thing off. So I was kind of impressed with it in the beginning, just because it, got the fuel tank lasted longer than we thought, and it seemed to be working just fine. But after seeing that, I'm not so sure. And I think that's probably the reason that it was so cheap, because it seems very just unregulated. Like it's just gonna do whatever voltage it wants, and it's just gonna be all over the place. Which is not good for, I know that's not good for sensitive electronics. Like if you were trying to run, say, like a TV, or charge your phone, or maybe even, I would never do this, but even power a computer or something. Having a way high voltage and low amps and all that stuff, that's not gonna be good for it. I was gonna recommend this generator if you needed a cheap one, but now I don't think I can. Unless you need a very cheap generator to power something that isn't sensitive and doesn't really matter. Like, say if you, just as an example, say if you needed to power a heat gun, out on a job site or something, or maybe like a power drill or something where the voltage and all that stuff having like a clean source of power isn't really going to be that important to you, then maybe I could see where you could use it. Other than that, I think it would just be a much better way to spend your money, to spend just a little bit more and get like an inverter generator, something that has a clean output that you can actually power like sensitive things on, and not have to worry about the voltage going all over the place and going from 80 to 150 and all that stuff. So, hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.